Hi, everyone, and thanks for being here. This is a presentation on creating responsive offers. I'm Sandy Brandt, a procurement manager with the City of Austin Purchasing Office.
And I'm Terry Nicholson. I'm a purchasing supervisor for the City of Austin Purchasing Office.
The Purchasing Office procures non-construction goods and services for all City of Austin departments. We procure a broad range of stuff. If you look at open solicitations right now, for example, you'll see that some of the things we're looking for include a market study, property insurance, police motorcycles, and video detection equipment.
We're not here to tell you what to write in your offers, what credentials to go out and get, or because you're here, you're guaranteed a contract. We're here because we want to help you create what we call responsive offers.
And what is a responsive offer? A responsive offer is a bid or proposal that conforms to the requirements of a given solicitation. So in a nutshell, it's an offer that can be considered for award.
We want to get your offers into the hands of our user departments that are requesting the goods or services. We'd love to see a flood of competitive offers so the city can get the best value in the marketplace. So who are we? What do we do? These are the different procurement categories that the purchasing office handles. You'll notice construction is not included. That's because that's done by a capital contracting office, which we're not going to talk about in this section. But you'll see electric utility, facilities and grounds, general services, information technology. Those are all the categories that the City of Austin Procurement Office purchases for.
So in our session, Terry and I want to help take the mystery out of the purchasing office's competitive solicitation process. We'll cover our office's most common competitive solicitation types, invitation for bids, and request for proposals, IFBs and RFPs. We'll familiarize you with what a solicitation packet looks like and typical forms found in them, and we'll give you some tips.
So this slide shows the formal solicitation that the city uses. We also do requests for quotes, which are for contracts that are less than $50,000. However, today we're just going to focus on these formal processes. First one is the IFBs up there at the top, invitation for bid. IFBs, the need is very specific. For instance, for golf course greens mix, we may require it to be 85% silica sand and 15% sun-grown peat moss. We forecast 725 tons a year, and we'll award to the lowest responsive bidder. You'll submit an offer, and the city will determine if you meet the submittal requirements and whether you've met the specs based on the award, then award based on price. For RFPs, we're looking more for a solution. We'll award based on price and other criteria. The city's looking for a contractor to develop a school-based visual aid and lesson plan to educate children on energy conservation, for instance. The curriculum must be interactive and appropriate for third grade audience. Visual aids must be accessible to a class of 30 kids at once. We may be evaluating your proposal based on your general concept, your experience, and then your price. That's the one you see down on the right-hand side. And then finally, over in the bottom left, you see RFQS, which is Request for Qualification Statement. It's based on qualifications. For instance, sometimes we hire hearing officers, and we strictly want them based on their calculations. In calendar year 2020, we issued 242 IFBs, 57 RFPs, and 14 Request for Qualification Statements. Today, we're going to focus on IFBs and RFPs.
All right, so I want to quickly show you our website, Austin Finance Online. There's a ton of information here, and it's also where we post our formal solicitations. By the way, there's an entire session today on navigating Austin Finance Online, so don't miss it. So this is also where you'll register as a vendor. You need to be registered in order to do business with the City of Austin. And when you register, remember to register under commodity codes appropriate for what your company sells. When we have a new solicitation, notifications go out to registered vendors based on those commodity codes. And there's a session about registering today as well. So solicitations are here, open solicitations and closed solicitations. And back to you, Terry.
Okay, so let's look at some of the solicitation documents that you'll find. Some of these documents may be published separately or all together in single documents. It just depends on what we're buying, who the particular procurement specialist is. In this particular one, we're talking about the solicitation cover sheet. This one gives you your basic information. What is the solicitation number? In this case, it's IFB 1100 TVN 1037. Gives a short description of what we're buying, who the authorized contact is. In this case, that was me. And then again, when the offer was due, or is due, I should say. Second page, you'll see if there's going to be a pre-offer conference. Oftentimes, if the solicitation is very technical or if there's a lot of information we feel it may be appropriate, we'll have a pre-offer meeting. This particular one, there wasn't one because we were buying a strict commodity type purchase. And then at the bottom, you'll see these are the documents that are included in the solicitation. Remember, read them all because they become part of the contract.
All right, next we have the solicitation instructions. You'll find instructions in each solicitation packet. It's important to note that each solicitation is different and the instructions may change based on what's being purchased. Even if you're familiar with the city's procurement process, it's still important to review for subtle differences. Remember, if you're going to play the game, you got to know the rules, so read this set of documents.
This next document is page 1 of our terms and conditions, and they're established for each solicitation based on specific goods or services that are required. Clauses included in the terms and conditions can vary depending on the subject. It's important to review, even if you're familiar, to make sure you're not missing something that you may not have seen before. Again, read everything. All these documents become part of the contract.
Every solicitation will include details on what we're purchasing. So this could be in a document called scope of work or the specifications. It could include a series of deliverables, or it could describe a supply agreement that covers multiple years. You'll see information like the length of the contract, delivery location, and the name of the city's contract manager, for example.
This next sheet is what we call a pricing sheet. And this gives the respondents a uniform way to present their prices. Excuse me. In this particular pricing sheet, it clearly states the items that are required, the approved manufacturers, and the manufacturer's part numbers that are acceptable. Since this is a long-term price agreement, the only thing the respondent needs to add is the lead times, the unit price, and the markup for any additional items that may need to be added to the contract at a later date. The next set of documents are our standard forms. This first one is the offer certification. By signing it, you're saying that you're providing the city with a legally binding offer. If selected for award, the city may countersign at the bottom. You'll see on the form itself, that's where your offer signature is required. Failure to sign the response may result in your offer being found non-responsive. And then, of course, down at the bottom is the city's acceptance. Page 2, or the next page on this particular packet, non-discrimination, non-retaliation certification. The city requires all contractors to certify that they will not engage in any discriminatory employment practices by checking the box on this page. Suspension debarment certification certifies that the respondent hasn't been debarred from doing business with any governmental entities. Non-collusion, non-conflict of interest certification. This is an integral part of the city's effort to provide a level playing field for all contractors. A related form, the anti-lobbying certification. As with the prior page, this helps to maintain fairness in the solicitation process. We award based on your offer, not based on who you may be lobbying. Non-resident bidder certification lets the city know the origin of the contractor's business. This information can be particularly important when contracts include interstate commerce. The local presence certification is real important to our local businesses, which the city values and provides extra incentives for them. For an RFP, local presence can represent up to 10 points out of 100. For an IFB, local presence can allow a local company that's within 3% of the low bidder to be awarded. It should be noted that local presence is given to businesses that fall into Austin's corporate city limits. So just having an Austin address doesn't guarantee credit. If you're unsure whether or not your company is considered a local business, you can reach out to the authorized contact for confirmation. The city's Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise Program has certain requirements regarding subcontracting. These are the forms to compete to demonstrate your compliance. Failure to follow the rules of this program can jeopardize the responsiveness of your bid. On the top document is the subcontracting utilization form, where you will let us know if you intend to subcontract or not. The bottom form is what you would fill out if you are going to subcontract, and that identifies who those subcontractors are.
All right, now I want to walk us through 2 real-life solicitation packages. So we're going to go back to our website, Austin Finance Online. This is a list of current open solicitations, and we're going to look at an IFB for powder activated carbon. Okay, so I'm going to do a keyword search for carbon, and that brought this one up. So this is the page in Austin Finance Online. And by the way, if you hit the subscribe button up here, you'll receive email notifications when new information is posted to the solicitation. So be sure to do that for the ones you're interested in. Here's the button to create your electronic response. And electronic response instructions are up here along with a how-to video if you want to know how to do that. So let's take a peek inside the documents. So if I scroll down here, this shows all the files that are associated with the solicitation. Okay, here's the cover sheet with basic information, a quick summary of what we're buying, the name of the contact, in this case, the very friendly Paul Trimble. Offers are due March 30th at 2 p.m. The deadline for questions is March 23rd at 5 p.m. And on page 2, you have information regarding the pre-offer conference. If there's a pre-offer conference for a solicitation you're interested in, I highly, highly recommend that you attend because they'll go through the solicitation packet and it'll be an opportunity for you to ask questions. Okay, so this solicitation, it says it published on March 8, and these are all the documents that make up the solicitation packet. You'll see here that there were 3 addenda posted after the published date. And if you subscribed to the solicitation, you would have received email notification when these addenda were posted. Also notice that this is page 2 of 53 total pages. Sometimes multiple documents are bundled together in one PDF. So remember to scroll through and read everything, and to also open up the other documents on that solicitation page on Austin Finance Online. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down to, let's see, about page 42 of this solicitation packet, because I want to show you These are the specifications for the powder activated carbon. And here you'll see the requirements that the city is looking for. So in compliance with AWWA standards, certified as suitable for contact with or treatment of drinking water. If you scroll down a little more, you'll see more requirements. particle size, moisture, apparent density, and so on. Let's see, what else? I'll also point you to up here, the term of contract. It says its initial term of 24 months with 3 additional 12-month periods. So a contract potentially up to 5 years total. Okay, and here are the offer and certifications. Open that up. These are all the city forms that Terry walked you through a little bit ago. Here's that line that you have to sign. So remember to sign that. And I'd also like to show you the pricing submittal sheet. Like we've said a bunch of times in this presentation, read everything, read everything. So here it says, you must use this document to submit your pricing. Use this document to submit your pricing. It says down here that pricing shall include all discounts, handling and shipping charges, and FOB destination. So consider that when you're giving us your pricing. Okay, so on this sheet, you'll put in your extended price, or sorry, your unit price, and your extended price will automatically calculate. And there's your total. Okay, I'm going to close out of this. And now let's look at an RFP. This one is for marketing research studies. And on this one, I want to take you to the proposal submittals because it's a little bit different for an RFP. Let's see. Scroll down here. This is in the solicitation instructions document and proposal submittals. This section tells you what specific information we want you to provide in your proposal. So it's really important that you read through this and you hit all those things that we're asking for. In 10.4, for example, we want to know about your project concept and strategy. When you're writing your proposal, again, hit on all the information that's asked for here. Be thorough, because we only know what you put in your proposal, not outside information that's not in your proposal. So here it says to elaborate on your strategy for survey development, recruiting and timelines, describe your on-site call center, provide documentation of training sessions. In 10.5, we're asking for your experience. We want names, title, qualifications, and resumes. And we also are asking that you identify your bilingual staff in this section. And if you go down here, you'll see the point breakdown for how evaluators will score your proposal. All right, and back to you, Terry.
Okay, thanks, Sandy. So let's look at some common mistakes. Here you see the signature page out of the offer and certification section. Anybody tell us what's wrong with this one?
I'll tell you, the offer did not sign. Remember, we can't accept your offer if it's not a legally binding one.
There you go. So this is a reference sheet. Again, what's wrong here?
The reference information is missing. We can't check references if we don't have contact information. And by the way, it's probably a good idea for you to check with your references and have an idea of what they're going to say. If they don't have positive things to say about you, they're probably not a good one to list on your reference sheet. Okay, on this one, does this offer get a local preference benefit? The offer certification tells us that they're a local business.
But they did not complete the local presence form, so we can't give them credit. Now, this doesn't make them non-responsive. We just can't give them any local preference. So here are just some general tips. Sign your offer certification. This is number one. Ensure your bid or price sheet is complete. Remember, we're trying to compare bids or proposals, so we want that level playing field. We want things to be even comparisons. Fill out the local presence identification form, particularly if you're local. Complete the subcontracting utilization form, and if you do intend to subcontract, be sure to fill out the utilization plan as well. Provide all requested information in the solicitation. Read everything, and by all means, confirm your references.
All right, I have some more tips for you. And I don't know if we've said this enough times in this presentation. Read the entire solicitation package. Another tip, subscribe to the solicitation to receive updates. There's a little button up in the top right corner, subscribe. Keep your vendor profile updated. Use a generic company email like sales@companyabc.com rather than johnsmith@companyabc.com. Because if John leaves, the emails will still come to him, but he won't be there to read them. If there's a pre-offer conference for a solicitation you're interested in, attend. And when in doubt, if you have questions, reach out to the authorized contact.
Check your offer package. Check it again. Have someone else review it. You would be surprised at the simple errors that we see on a regular basis. Double check your work.
Well, that's what we have for you today. Thank you so much for your time. If you have questions, Terry and I will be around to answer them. So please type them in the chat and we'll do our best to give you the answers you're looking for.
Thanks, everyone.